pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Dog dice and woes of life, love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise, crystal shaded lids, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear, clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving the rain in the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near, stay there. Remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you can see.
Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody enjoyed this weekend of my favorite weekend of the year, which of course is March, the beginning of March Madness. So, hope everybody's having a good time. Hopefully, your brackets are still good. Mine is not bad. 13 out of 16 of my Sweet 16, which we'll go over that here in a little while. Thunder had a loss last night, which we're going to talk about today to start the show off. Of course, since we are getting ready for the playoffs, only 12 games away. Yeah, 12 games. The NBA season's almost all over. Almost over already. So, by all means, go ahead and if you want to comment on anything we're talking about or make a questions, please go ahead, search the Unpopular Hour on YouTube. With Matt Clark, the Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark, or hit search After the Storm, the OKC Thunder, which of course we talked about the Thunder game last night. Wasn't a whole lot to talk about. I normally don't do shows, live streams after Thunder games, whether we blow teams out or being blown out, but it was a huge loss for us, and we had won 4 in a row. So I figured we need to talk about it a little bit. But anyway, the Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark search. And then also, if you don't have YouTube, you can go to www.mcsportsnetwork.com. That is our website. You can go in, you can click on the Unpopular Hour, you click on After the Storm and see any of our previous shows on that if you want to do that. So by all means, go ahead and do that. But like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and go to our YouTube and we can like those. We can talk about those. You can comment on anything I'm talking about or ask me questions. Anyway, the Thunder lost 93-118 last night to the Bucks in Milwaukee. First time I was playing them, we played them, I think, the second to last game this year, which will be interesting on where they stand, where we stand, on how important the game is. And what we've basically done now is we've gone out when I've done the NBA standings, I've did the West and the East now. So that way because now that it's at the end of the year, those cross games matter, who you're playing, what their position is, what your position is, how much of those 50-50 games really, truly matter. So, but anyway, like I said, the Thunder last night they did not show up to play. I mean, we were not ready to play. We got our score 70-46 in the second half. 70-46 in the second half. It was just, Josh got off to a great start. I thought we were playing pretty good, but once again, I don't like his lineups. I don't like this coach's lineups. I don't like Hayward playing so much. I just don't. I understand you're trying to get him in the fold and trying to get him ready for the playoffs, but he just doesn't fit what we're trying to do. Then all of a sudden you're sticking Muscala and Lindy Waters in the game when I'm like, why the hell you got those guys in the game? We got guys who taking Wiggins is shooting 50% from 3, 49% from 3, and you're taking him out of the game for somebody who can't hit a 3 in the pressure. Muscala is a pad. Muscala was great for us back in the day, but he's just I don't understand what you're doing. I don't get that. I don't know why Lindy Waters is playing at all. I don't know why Muscala is playing at all. I don't. I barely understand why the hell Hayward's playing. So I don't really get how you can stick them in there at the end of games. Lindy Waters forced up a shot, but the point is that nobody's going to get him the ball unless they're double team and it's the last second shot and he shoots a fadeaway. I'm like, dude, you're going to have a better chance of putting Wiggins in the score. I mean, what are you doing? But once again, I think this coach is over his skis. I've said this before. Everybody talks about this year is, to me last year, I said at the beginning of the year, this year he's not going to have an excuse. Last year you could comment, oh, well, he's this and he's that and whatever. You lost on purpose last year trying to get that 8 seed so you can get in the lottery to get into the pick to get Wembanyama last year. Let's face it, that's what you were trying to do, and you were losing, and then you didn't want to admit it. And I called you out, called you out, called you out, called you out, and then finally you have a bad loss, and then you had to admit exactly what I had been saying, and people had got on my case about what I had been saying for weeks. And he commented, or he agreed, finally agreed to what I have been saying all along. People thought I was crazy, just like people are thinking I'm crazy about what I'm talking about now. And I'm telling you, I am right on what I am saying, and you will see for yourself, just like you did last year, just like you did with Kevin Durant. It's the same system. The Thunder administration is not ready to win. That's what the Athletic said. I was on your side. I was agreeing with you. Like, no, 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 no. SGA and Chet, I could see it. The rest of them was one way, and you can just see it. And like I said, there is something going on there. Why do you think SGA only took Chet? Why is SGA and Chet in a commercial together? Those two dressed just alike. Open your eyes, people. Get your head out of the damn sand. Get your head out of the damn sand. Okay? It's ridiculous. But talking about last night, it's just frustrating to me. He continues to play these lineups. You start the second quarter, you're down 22-25. You do J-Dub, Chet, Wiggins, Josh, and Kaysen. You don't play Wiggins and SGA together. Why the hell not? Your best five has always been, all year, has been SGA, Kaysen, Isaiah Joe, Wiggins, and Chet, but Jay Will to start out and then Chet. That's been your best six all year long. At the third and first quarters, in your second quarter, third quarter, which of course we led the NBA, or we lead the NBA in third quarter point differential, and you don't play them together. You don't play Wiggins at all in the first quarter. You play him in the second quarter. His minutes have dropped down. He's one of the best players you got, but you don't play him. But I just don't. I don't understand this guy's philosophy. I don't understand what the hell he's doing. I just have to agree with the Athletic finally, and I've been agreeing with them past couple of weeks. The Thunder are not ready to win. That's clear because of what he's doing. And anyway, the Thunder fall back. They're down 47-48, about down by 1 point to start the third quarter. We start off with our normal lineup, and of course we get off to a slow start. They go on a 13-0 run. We missed our first 14 shots. First 14 shots. Then they're down 49-66, and you put SGA, K-Rich, J-Dub, Dort, and Hayward in there, and that didn't do anything. I don't like SGA and Dort playing together. Dort needs to be playing with his buddy, which is J-Dub. They need to be playing together. That's who you need to have him playing with. You need to play Wiggins with SGA, and you play Dort with him. That's what you need to be doing. But once again, secretly, I believe the Thunder is sabotaging SGA. I just do. I hear these announcers talk about the Thunder and all this. You don't watch us play. Watch us play. Then your opinion on what the Thunder are doing would change. You don't watch us play. You watch a bunch of games. But if you're watching the Thunder, if they were on TV as much as they should be, the perception of Oklahoma City Thunder would change. But this is the thing. Everybody loves J-Dub. I love J-Dub. I think he's fantastic as a 2A, 2B. I think it's great. But I think it's SGA, Chet, and then him. The Thunder think it's him, then Chet, then SGA is whatever, a pass on. And that's what they think. And, you can say I'm crazy, but I can tell you this. One thing, all you got to do, and what I've told everybody who says the same thing to me, why the hell does he put the ball in J-Dub's hands instead of SGA's at the end of quarters, the end of games? Now, I'm getting ready to show you a stat, okay? And then you can decide what you want to yourself. call me crazy. You can do whatever you want. You can be mad at me. You can do whatever the hell you want. Go watch the damn game yourself and see who the hell does he put the ball in. And then he'll call timeout for to put him in the game and put the ball in his hands at the end of the quarter. Look what he's doing. You can't give me the excuse, oh, well, we're trying to give SGA the ball. They double-teamed J-Dub last night and turned the ball over. Listen, they don't guard J-Dub coming up the court. They want the ball out of SGA's hands. Why? One they respect, one they don't. Or one they're in fear of and one they're not. That's the best way to put it. Because I do respect J-Dub. I think he's going to be a great player. But to me, the difference between the Thunder winning and not winning is understand who the hell your best player is. And the Thunder think their best player is J-Dub. And I'm harping on this. So all you can say all you want to with me. But at the end of the year, when they fail, look what's up. You're not going to win unless you put the ball in your best player's hands and let him decide what's going to happen, because J-Dub is fantastic in space. So why would you not want SGA double-teamed, kick it to J-Dub, and have the defense scrambling where J-Dub can make moves going to the basket or make plays? Why would you not want that? Instead of him trying to go one-on-one he doesn't have the ball handling skills to do it. It shows up game after game after game, him trying to do stuff. Left hand, he's trying to do everything. He watches SGA and try to recreate what he does. You're not him. It's like last night, he shot that one fading away off one leg, off the glass. That's a luck shot. And that's coming from somebody who scored, 1,800 points in his career in high school and over 1,200 points in college. I know how to fucking score. Excuse my language. I know how to score. I know what's a good shot, what's not. I know I made many luck shots that were luck. I just threw it up there because I was just, let me throw this up. And it's just what I could just get it up there. But it went in. Oh, yeah, I tried to make that. No, I didn't. You didn't try to. You were just trying to get it up there. And we've all have done that. Even you who are normal, regular players who are just out there playing pickup ball. There's shots you made. You know damn well you weren't trying to, you got lucky. You know that. It happens to everybody. Jordan, it happens to Steph Curry. It happens to Magic. It happens to LeBron. It happens to everybody. You're gonna make some shots that damn, man, that was luck, man. And you know it. And I can't listen to Bollies. I don't listen to them anymore. I can't stand listening to them. They're terrible. But it's what I'm stuck with. I can't wait till we have games on TV so I can watch them. I can't stand listening to them. They're terrible. And I like listening to WWLS, but the problem is they are ahead of the game, and so I'm listening to him, and I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm getting the game before it happens, and I hate that part of it. I really do. But I like listening to him because he's not throwing off the Thunder BS narrative, which is just terrible. I just can't stand these people. I can't stand listening to them. I really can't. But anyway, the Thunder lost last night, and here are the other NBA games or NBA scores last night. The Pelicans, of course, tightened their noose. They won. The Clippers lost to the Sixers, and the Sixers are starting to kick up. They're starting to get good, and Joel Embiid will be back by the time we play them, I believe. Next week he should be back. So when we play the Sixers, he'll be back. The T-Wolves beat the Warriors last night, and they're going to show you something really interesting. Who's in 11th place right now? What's going on with that? Then, of course, we lost to the Bucks, and then the Lakers beat the Pacers in L.A., which, of course, if we played the right lineups, we would have beat them too. But, of course, listen, our great coach, did we do that? No, we did not. So NBA standings, here are the East and the Western Conference. Okay, the Thunder is sitting in second place, half game back behind the Nuggets. Nuggets were the first 50-game winner in the West. Of course, the Celtics are 7 games above 550. That's crazy. They'll be in the mid-60s, 65, 67 wins by the time they're done. Because what are they at? 61 games, so they got 11 games left, so they'll win 8 out of their last 11 or 9 out of their last 11 or something, 7 out of their last 11, something like that. They're so far ahead, they're 11 games ahead, so they can rest up players, but we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, the Thunder, the T-Wolves, we're only half a game ahead of them now, 49 and 21, 49 and 22 for them. The Clippers, 44 and 26. 5.5 games back. So really, it's between us three really are sitting where we're at. I mean, the Clippers probably could slide in there and kind of catch us for that third spot, second spot, but it's really between the three of us, and I think the Nuggets are going to win out because they understand what the hell they're doing as far as coaching, as far as lineups, and trying to win because they are the defending champions and they want to repeat. So they're going to do what they got to do to get the number one seed because they want everybody to have to go through Denver to win at least one game there, but they want 4 home games. That's the secret. Having 4 home games is the secret. And the Thunder, what, are 28-7, I believe, at home this year. So you want to continue to win at home and be able to play at home. That's the key. But the Thunder administration and coaching staff, get mad at me all you want to, but I'm telling the truth, and you damn well know it. The Clippers, Pelicans are sliding there for the 4-5 spot. The Suns are slowly creeping in there at the 8 spot. The Kings, 8.5. The Mavs, 8.5. And then the Lakers are sitting there at 9 spot at 11 games back. But here's the key. Look at the Rockets. They've won 8 straight quietly. They've won 8 straight quietly. Who the hell thought they would win 8 straight games? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're crazy if you thought they'd have won 8 straight games. They're sliding in there. And, of course, we have the Rockets. What do we have the Rockets? Friday night, I believe? Anyway, I'll check the schedule here in just a minute. We'll go over that. But look at where they're at. They're 1 game behind the Rockets right now. I mean, behind the Warriors for play-in. And I think that the Lakers don't really want to see the Rockets. They want to see the Warriors more than they want to see the Rockets. That's just what I believe because the Rockets are long, they're athletic, they're young, they can play defense, they're going hard, they've got a great coach. They're slowly going to be there. They're the team that worries me in a year to 2 years. They're going to be right where they need to be because he's going to be playing the right players and understand who the hell the best players are and who he needs to play, unlike the Thunder. So, anyway, that's what it looks like in the West. In the East, you've got the Bucks and the Cavs fighting right there for second. The Knicks are still right there in the hunt for that second, third spot. They're really third, fourth spot. I think the Bucks are slowly starting to figure out who they are and what they're doing. They're so long and so athletic, which is what the problem with the Thunder is. The Thunder's thing is that our 6'7", 6'8", 6'7", 6'8" guys, they're 6'9", 6'10". The Nuggets 6'9", 6'10". The Wolves 6'9", 6'10". The Thunder 6'7", 6'8". Too small. Too small. We've got to get bigger to do the exact same thing that the guys are doing at 6'7". You need them to be 6'9", 6'10", doing the exact same thing. That's going to be the difference in what the Thunder do or don't do. That's just really simple. Then you have the Magic sitting there with their 5th place. You got the Pacers 6th place. Then you got the Sixers sitting back there in 8th place without Embiid. And so right now, if it ended today, you'd have the Heat hosting the Sixers, and you'd have the Bulls hosting the Hawks, and then the winner of that would play the loser between the Heat and the Sixers. So then the Celtics would play the winner of those, and I can promise you, the Celtics, I don't think they'd want to see the either one of those guys. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think they want to see the Heat or they want to see the Sixers. Now, if any of the two who they'd want to see is probably the Heat more than the Sixers, if you ask me, because of the simple fact the Heat got them last year, and I think they'd want to a little payback for what happened last year in the championship series. So, if you ask me, I think that would be the recipe for that. So, that's just me looking at it, going, who would I rather play? Who would I rather not? So anyway, that's how it would work right now. So you'd have the Heat. If it ended right now as is, and everything finished as is, the Nuggets would play the Mavs, the Thunder would play the Kings, the T-Wolves would play the Suns, and the Clippers and Pelicans would go at it, which I'd love to see that. That'd be a great series. Whereas in the East, you have the Celtics going against the Sixers, the Bucks going against the Heat, the Cavs against the Pacers, and then the Knicks and Magic. That should be good, but I think if the Knicks have everybody back, they should take care of business. That's just kind of how I look at it and how it should work, if you ask me. So, but anyway, the playoffs are kicking in. It's going to be fun. 11 days away. 12 games away for the Thunder. That's it, 12 games, and we're there. So, and then I gave you the breakdown of who we got. Oh, I haven't done that yet. And then here are the Thunder's next 6 games or 12 games, the final 12 games. This is who we have coming up to play. So it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to do. Okay, Remember, we lost to the Bucks last night. We have the Pelicans in New Orleans tomorrow night, and you saw where they were sitting. So they're right there. They're trying to win, which is why I showed you what the standings were. They're right there in fifth, trying to get up there to fourth place. So they're trying to win. Then you have the Rockets winning of 8 in a row. We've got them at home, and they want to get us. Then we have the Suns right after that. So we have the Pelicans tonight or tomorrow night, which is Tuesday. Then you have the Rockets on Wednesday at home on back-to-back nights. Then you have to go to have the Suns on Friday night, which of course that'll be on KSBI again, which is that's just atrocious that they're. I don't I don't understand it. It's terrible. It's really terrible. You have them on, and then of course the Knicks and the Sixers and the Celtics and the Pacers. So, like we said, this 8 game streak, you have to go 5-3 at worst. 6-2 would be the best way to do it, but you can't go 4-4 or 3-5. You can't. And right now you're 0-1 in that 8 game stretch. You're 0-1 in that 8 game stretch, and we talked about it. 5-3, 5-3, 6-2 would be the greatest, but 5-3, 4-4 would. I mean, you can't go worse than 4-4. So that means you got to beat the Pelicans. You got. I mean, you got. I mean, that's gonna be tough. Because think about this: of those games, of these next 7 games, 5 of them on the road. At the Pelicans, 5th place. At the Knicks, where they 6th place. At the Sixers, 8th place. At the Celtics, 1st place. At the Pacers, 6th place. I mean, you these are games you got to win. These are 50-50 games, and the lineups that he plays is not going to work. And the problem is SGA is back to his stats are going down because of what the Thunder are doing. I just can't believe that what they're doing. You are imploding your own team. And if you played sports before and you've been in situations, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Those of you who haven't played, don't know, then you don't know. But everybody else, they know what the hell. If you played before, you've been in a situation, you know exactly what the hell's going on. You know exactly what I'm talking about and how it sucks of what you see and what's happening. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's I don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyway, here's what's coming up with the Thunder next. I mean, you got the Pelicans tomorrow night, then the Rockets on Wednesday at home, then Friday night the Suns at home, then Sunday at the Knicks, then you turn around and what's that? Tuesday at the Sixers, Wednesday at the Celtics, and then Friday at the Pacers. I mean, this is murderer's row. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, you're right. Right now, you're 0-1 in your 8 game streak. In your 8 games, next 8 games, you're 0-1. You cannot go 4-4 because if you go 4-4, we're finished. We're in 3rd place. Can't do it. You can't do it. You've got to go 6-2. You've got to be 5-3 and 4-4. That's just the absolute worst you can be. But the way this coach plays, his lineups, putting the ball in J-Dub's hands instead of SGA's, I have zero confidence in this coaching staff and what they're doing. I just have zero confidence. I just don't. But if SGA is continuing to shoot the way he's doing, he's just everything about him is going down. It's just like they're breaking this dude. They really are. They're breaking this guy, and it's just sad that you see somebody who has a chance to really do something with an organization. And yeah, I'm calling you out, and y'all can be mad at me all you want to. When you look at SGA, his first year he averaged 19 points a game, 47% shooting. Second year, 23.7, 50% shooting. The next year, 24.5, 45% shooting. The next year, 31.4, 51% shooting. And then this year, 30.9, 54% shooting. His assists have gone up from 3.3 to 5.9, tied same thing. Then 5.5 it dropped last year, and then he's up to 6.3. Steals, he went from 1.1, 0.8, 1.3, and I need to put these stats up there. And then averaging 2 steals a game now. And then you don't consider him your best player, but that's okay. We have an NBA team, and we get to watch other teams. So that's the beauty about what having an NBA franchise does for your city, and it makes the city relevant. And you really have a chance to do something fantastic, but you're going to do the same thing you did with the big 3 that you had before. You're going to make the wrong decisions, and you're going to pick the wrong guy to to be your leader, and the same shit is going to happen all over again. Same thing. It happen all over again because you're making the same mistake that you made the first time. You picked Russell Westbrook the first time, now you're picking J-Dub. Just ridiculous. I want to take this opportunity to thank SRB for sponsoring us. If you have needs for engineering, surveying, or planning, hit our guy Mark Long up over there. They love to be behind the scenes. Collaborative Logic. In fact, I need to call them because I need them to come in and fix some stuff on me. I tried to do something on my computer that's all jacked up, so I need them to come in. And the thing about them is that they can remote in and fix whatever I need to be fixed. Oak Grove Trucking and Jose Fierro. If you have needs for dirt, rock, or sand to be moved, hit my boy up. And love to talk to you guys. And of course, YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC. Proud sponsor for us to go out and support women, minority, and black-owned businesses in the OKC area. And so we appreciate them. So you can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or you can go into one of their 5 locations. YNB, the main bank, of course, that we talked about, downtown Yukon. YNB East, which is off the Parkway and 66 or 39th Expressway. YNB Mustang and 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Parkway, which is off Garth Brooks and I-40, just south of I-40, right in front of the hospital. You cannot miss it. And then, of course, YNB Peoples, which is in Bethany, located on 23rd between Rockwell and MacArthur. So hit them up, and they'd love to see you over there. Shelter Insurance, the Mark Pemberton Agency, located at 4609 Southeast 29th in Dale City, Oklahoma. You can contact them at 405-670-2424. Open Monday through Thursdays from 9 to 5, Fridays 9 to 1, closed Saturdays and Sundays. Probably serving the Mid-Dale area since 1982. So hit those guys up. They are fantastic and would appreciate them. Appreciate you doing that. Okay. Now, like I said at the beginning of the show, March Madness is here. And, dude, it's just my favorite sporting event. I do love the World Cup. I will say that. Because we did do a series or stay on that about which thing was the best, whether it was the World Cup. Now, the World Cup is watched by way more people. But March Madness, Drew and Nathan, they were right. It's just something about March Madness. It just is. It really is. So, but anyway, the brackets came out, and I ended up with 13 of the 16 Sweet 16s picked in my bracket. There were some guys that I did not see winning, which, of course, I usually average 12. 12, 13 is what my average is usually because there's going to be some upsets that I never pick. But usually I'm 12, 13 out of 16 is what I am. 11 is usually my worst part, but usually I'm 12 to 13 out of the top 16. So, because there's always those first round upsets that I just don't foresee coming, and that's what happens. So, but here is the Sweet 16 bracket as it comes out. And like I said, here were the games. I mean, man, there were some great games when you look at it. And that's the reason why we weren't on Thursday and Friday is because we were too busy watching March Madness. Now, we were supposed to be on last Thursday, but the times got all screwed up. But this Thursday, Thursday and Friday, we will be doing the NCAA championships at a location. So we will be there. But anyway, UConn took care of business, which, of course, we thought that they would. Then, of course, Florida Atlantic and Northwestern, we saw what they were doing, and we knew that Northwestern was going to win that game. Then, of course, San Diego State and UAB. Then you had Auburn, which is who I had picked, and, of course, that did not happen. Auburn did not happen. Got beat by Yale. I still don't see that one. Anyway, then, of course, I had Auburn winning that, and, of course, that did not work because look who is sitting there, and it would be San Diego State. San Diego State took care of Yale, and that's what always usually happens when one team that's not supposed to win their first round, they win, they usually lose in the second round. And then, of course, I did not see BYU losing at all. Duquesne took care of business on that, and then Illinois won, which, of course, I had them. And then, of course, Illinois was going to take care of Duquesne, and I had Illinois moving on. So my Sweet 16 at the top was UConn and Auburn. When it's UConn, San Diego State. Then of course I had Illinois taking care of business, and of course they did, even though I had them beating BYU, not Duquesne, and then Washington State and Drake. I knew that Drake was going to take care of business, and I had them in there, and then of course Iowa State, which I really like, and so I did that 6 weeks. 6 weeks that Sweet 16 is right on point. Iowa State, South Dakota State, that took care of business. Then I knew that they would beat Drake. So the top half of my bracket, I'm only missing one. I had Auburn, and of course that did not happen. And then, of course, you go down from there. I had North Carolina because my boy Drew Hinthorn of Husker Drew picks. You cannot have North Carolina. He'd be all, he would be hurt if you didn't have them. And then, of course, I had Michigan State beating them, and then you got UConn UNC taking care of business there. And we knew that was going to happen. So I had UNC beating them, and then St. Mary's. I had St. Mary's over Grand Canyon, and then I had Bama taking care of business over there. And of course, I had Bama and UNC is who I have in the Sweet 16. So I'm on point right there. Clemson and Baylor coming down from there. I knew Clemson would win, Baylor would win, but then I knew Clemson would take care of business after that. I knew that they would beat Baylor, so I knew what was happening there. And then, of course, you had Dayton, who I really liked, and Nevada. Even though Dayton, let me see, anyway, I had them in there, so my brackets all jacked up over here when looking at it. But anyway, I got the brackets in there, and I had Clemson and Zona playing against each other, which, of course, was going to happen. And so anyway, I was sitting there. So my brackets are there. This one side is perfect, except I did not see Auburn just peeing in their pants. I did not see that. But other than that, I'm sitting golden on that side of the bracket. And then on the other side of the bracket, Houston, boy, they had a scary one against A&M, but I had picked them to go on, so they took care of business in both brackets. And, of course, I had A&M beating Nebraska. Sorry, Drew. I know you probably had Nebraska, but I did have A&M beating Nebraska, and then I had Houston beating them, so that was good. And then on the other side of that, I had Wisconsin beating James Madison. Then I had Duke beating them, and then, of course, I have Duke and Houston, and that side of the bracket is golden. On that side, which, I'm sitting good right there. Then after that, on the other thing, I had Texas Tech winning NC State, then Kentucky. I don't really know what to say on that. I don't know what to say on that. But anyway, North Carolina State took care of business over Tech. Then North Carolina State, of course, is in there beating. Oh man, North Carolina State got lucky. Anyway, NC State's in there. I did not have them in there. Then of course I've got Marquette squeezing all the way around there and taking care of business. So that side of my bracket looks really good, except for Kentucky. How the hell do you fold like that? How do you fold like that? But I did have Marquette coming in, and then of course I had Purdue taking care of business both sides. TCU once again did not see them getting beat, and then Utah State just got murdered. TCU would have been a much better matchup for Purdue than than Utah State, but it is what it is. You didn't have them in there, and when teams who don't really belong are there, that's exactly what happens, and that's exactly what happened. And Purdue just smashed them. Just smashed them. Then the Zags had them taking Gonzaga, taking care of McNeese, and then had KU winning, and then I put the Zags over KU. KU is just without McCullough, they're not the same team, and without him going, they didn't have a chance. They really didn't. So I had Purdue and the Zags playing against each other. And then South Carolina and Oregon, I had Oregon taking care of business. And, of course, they probably would have won the game had their point guard not went out. But the bottom line is he did get hurt. It is what it is. And Creighton moves on. And I did not have them in there. But anyway, they took care of business and beat them in double overtime. And I believe they don't win the game if Oregon's point guard does not go down. But it is what it is. Then I've got Texas And Tennessee, I had Texas beating Colorado, which, or Colorado State, that didn't happen. And then you got Tennessee, um, and you got Tennessee and St. Peter's. Of course, Tennessee took care of business on that, and then Tennessee took care of business on over Texas. And I had Tennessee beating Texas anyway, so I had them coming down. So I had Tennessee. I had Tennessee, Oregon instead of Tennessee, Creighton. I had the Zags and Purdue. I had Marquette, and of course Kentucky dropped out, and then I had Duke. So I had the Kentucky loss, I had the Oregon loss, and I had Auburn. So those three teams failed me miserably during the NCAA, and I was not ready for those guys to lose, but they did, and that's what happened. And that's what you end up doing. So we shall see how it's going to play out. But anyway, so I've got my final, which Sweet 16, which of course on Thursday we will go over those and be able to tell you who we got, who's happening, and all the breakdown from that this coming Thursday. And then hopefully the guys will be on, and I'm going to have some more people on this week, and we'll be going over their brackets and talking a little bit about who's beating who. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, and I'm excited about doing that because the NCAA, like I said, the Sweet 16 is absolutely my favorite time of the year, and I love it. So hopefully you guys will be following this and giving your brackets, and hopefully your brackets are good. And what I thought was crazy was that ESPN had 25 million entries into their deal, and then after Kentucky lost, they only had 500,000. Wow. I mean, think about 20. They called Kentucky cost 20-something million people a chance to win in this in the ESPN brackets. Wow. 500,000 main brackets. I don't know how many they got now. I guess I should have Googled it before that to see how many they have left that are set. But yeah, think about that. 20-something million people. Sorry, guys. 20 million people lost because Kentucky lost. And then, of course, Coach Cal, who I love, is sitting there second on his recruiting of young guys. And my thing is this: we've talked about college basketball versus women's basketball and how women are now, because Caitlin Clark was on, was it yesterday, I believe? I know they played tonight. But I think they were on yesterday talking about, how women's basketball is more important than men's. Well, or more viewed. Well, the thing is this, is that, remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, March Madness, you could even use the name. So now you're being able to use the name, and why? Because more and more people are familiar with women's basketball because y'all are staying around. Women, people don't even know who's on the men's team. If you're not from that school, you don't know who the hell who's on your team because of the transfer portal and because of you don't know who the hell's on your team anymore. So, and women still has transfer portal, but they just usually they get to a place and they stay. And the difference is between men's and women, and I've said this all along, is that coaches lie to you. They do. They feed you a bunch of crap, especially in football, especially since there's more kids, and tell you, yeah, you're going to play, yeah, you're going to this, yeah, you're going to that. And then when they don't, what are you left to do? Take it? What are you really left to do? Those are your options. Do I stay at that school or do I move on? Now, to me, you move on. I mean, if you tell me something, you're gonna do this and you that, and you don't, I'm out of here. And the beautiful thing about it is, to me, I see zero problem in you transferring one time. Now to keep doing it over and over and over, which of course some guys did, like Bo Nix because of COVID and all these things because of COVID. Baycock, the guy from North Carolina, because of COVID, these guys got the extra year. So now you got guys who are 23, 24 years old playing against 18-year-olds. Well, that's just like that's the problem I have with the NBA. You've got guys who are trying to come to the NBA. Okay? These guys are 18 years old trying to play against grown men. No. That's why in football you have to be 3 years removed from high school in order to go to the pros. The NBA should be a minimum of 2. These guys aren't ready. One, it would clean up a lot of the one-and-done guys who were fantastic and were men among boys in high school. And then when they get to the league, they're nowhere to be found. Why? Because they weren't ready in the first place. Then you have exceptions to the rules who are one-and-done guys like SGA, like Kaysen, and people like that. Yeah, those guys. But for the most part, one more year, would that have hurt SGA? Would one more year have hurt Kaysen? No, it wouldn't have. Playing 2 years in college is not going to hurt you. It's going to make you stronger. You're going to develop more relationships. You're going to become more of a man. So, yeah, you're going to be more physically gifted to do something. But on the other side of what does that do? That hurts a lot of these kids financially who come from poor neighborhoods whose parents don't have anything. And there's a chance for them to really step up. So that's the enigma. That's where the problem lies. I mean, what do? Do you kind of help these kids who are growing up and who don't have anything? But with NIL, hell, you can still make a bunch of money, whereas you couldn't back in the day. Now you can. So I don't understand why you don't hold them out for 2 years. 2 years, because what's that's going to do, a lot of the one and done guys who aren't ready for the NBA, who don't make it, you at least stay 2 years. So you'll be able to thin out those guys who really aren't skilled enough quite yet for the next level, if that makes sense. I don't have a problem with people coming out making money. I don't have a problem with any of that. But that being said, I think you have to really be careful on that aspect of it. Whereas in the women's game, you know Caitlin Clark, you know these guys, you know these girls who are there forever and ever and ever because they've been there over and over and over. So you know who's playing and who's not. You know who to watch and who you don't. And so when you look at the college basketball women's bracket, and by the way, the games tonight ought to be pretty good. So I'm excited about tonight. You've got OU playing at 6:30 on ESPN2 against Indiana. That's going to be a great game. You have Ole Miss and Notre Dame playing. They're playing right now. I don't know who's winning that game, so they're playing right now. So you've got some really really good games. You got Utah and Gonzaga tonight. You've got let me see who else you got tonight. You've got Tennessee and North Carolina State, which ought to be really good. Then, of course, you've got you've got so many games today. Syracuse and UConn. That's going to be a good game, and that's at 6 o'clock tonight. I mean, at 10 o'clock, the late game. USC, Southern Cal. You got them tonight, so that's going to be really good going against Big 12 KU, so that'll be good. And then, of course, Creighton's women trying to beat UCLA so that they can slide in and have men's and women's in the Sweet 16. So that ought to be cool for them. So I'm going to be rooting for Creighton that they can slide in there and take care of business in that. So that's going to be good. Love to see them join our guy Trey Alexander in the boys team. Then, of course, on the top of the bracket, you've got tonight Iowa and West Virginia. So we get to see Caitlin Clark tonight. So, man, I tell you what, and if she wins, they've got Colorado after that. Then you've got LSU versus the winner of Creighton UCLA, and I think I have UCLA is who I have in that. I have in that bracket. But then, of course, well, actually, I take that back. Let me look at my bracket. Oh, I have Creighton because I had Creighton. I have Creighton women winning and I had the men losing. I've got University of Southern California, USC playing against Baylor, and then I've got Duke playing against UConn. So that's going to be a great game. So we're going to be going over those brackets as well. Who's going to beat who coming in that. So that's going to be cool. I'm really interested to see that. Then, of course, on the other side, Iowa State. I've got Tennessee going against Stanford. Then I've got Texas, of course, that women's team. Man, I've got them in my Final Four. Going against Utah. So that ought to be good. That even though I think Gonzaga probably will beat them, I still kind of like Utah. But Gonzaga men and Gonzaga women, that's going to be something I'll probably just go for simply because of that. Then you've got Oregon State taking on the winner of Ole Miss and Notre Dame, which I have Notre Dame taking care of business right there in that. Going against Oregon State, which Oregon State's going to be a handful for them. It really is. And then I've got OU, of course, beating Indiana. I'm going to take the Sooners. That going against South Carolina in the Sweet 16. And then Oregon State against Notre Dame. So that's going to be then. Because I really want to see OU and South Carolina, to be honest with you. I really, really want to see OU and South Carolina. I do. So I'll be watching that game tonight. I'm really pumped about that because I do like watching women's basketball. Unlike some people who don't, I really am a big fan of it, watching them play. I think it's just something I really enjoy, and I do watch like good basketball because to me it doesn't really matter. But for Caitlin Clark, to her comments about being more popular, I like the fact that women's sports are now more prevalent and more people can watch them. And I like all the little girls that are out there being able to watch sports now and watch the games. I love that. I mean, I really, really, truly do. I like that. I think these young ladies need to be able to have some sort of people to look up to. I love the fact that like the KC Current have their own. And in fact, I talked about this yesterday. How the KC Current have their own facility, the first women's team, women's sports to ever have their own facility. That's just absolutely amazing that they have their own facility in soccer in the world. And soccer, of course, football, FUT ball, BOL, is the number one sport in the world simply because that's what the world does. And you think about they are the first women's team to have their own facility. Talk about nutrition. They have their own nutritionist. They have a weight room. They have a locker room. They have a practice facility. They have practice fields. They have all this stuff, plus they have a nice arena. And then, of course, a nice field, which, of course, stadium, which is sponsored by, I believe, Union Pacific of Kansas City. So, anyway, they have that. So, I like the fact that people, and they're packed, and they have a waiting list for season tickets. So, somebody was talking about, oh, you can buy a season ticket. No, you can't. Go on the website and try to get a season ticket. There's not none. There's not any. So, I like the fact that women's sports is upcoming. I like the fact that, I train girls and stuff. So I like these young ladies being able to have something to look forward to, something to hang their heads on, something to say, look, here's the opportunity for me as a woman to be able to gain something. I think that is tremendous. I think it is fantastic. I love the concept and the idea of that. To me, it's just amazing that these young ladies, young girls can actually have something. Okay, here's a professional life for me. I want to be like boys. I want to be in sports. I want to be able to have a career in it. So it gives them a chance to say, I have something past college. Now, granted, you can make way more money in basketball overseas. But then after that, depending on what your sport is, whether it's soccer or whether it's in soccer, you still have to go overseas to really make money. You still can here, but for the most part, you make money over there because that's the world sport. So the women in soccer, football is starting to come on. You haven't still. It's kind of hard for me to watch. Girls play football. Is still. I'm still working on it. I know that it's chauvinistic in some degree. I'll admit that, but it's still a little bit harder for me to watch them play football. I have no problem watching basketball. I have no problem watching women's soccer. I have no problem watching women's fast pitch softball, which arguably is my favorite sport other than basketball to watch. Now, in basketball, it depends on who I'm watching. Okay, I don't want to watch every team, but it depends on who I'm watching on that part aspect of it. But I do love women's sports. I do love it, and I'm just excited about that. So that being said, I don't agree with Caitlin Clark so much is that the first day of March Madness is the most watched thing. Now, after that, people are still going to watch the two or three teams that they're going to watch, but they don't really know the players. I mean, other than Zach Edey, really. And of course, we know Trey Alexander because he's from Oklahoma, but for the most part, you don't know who the men's players are. So I know Baycock because he's been there forever in North Carolina. But for the most part, men's basketball, you don't really know who the hell the players are, whereas women's, you do. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Aces. Oh, the mailman, of course. There he is. He doesn't like this mailman guy, but I don't know what dog likes mailmans anyway. But he's not he's not a fan. He's not a fan of the mailman. It's pretty funny. There he goes. Boom. He's on his way to attack him. He can't get at him. Hopefully he won't stick his head. Um, hopefully he won't stick his head through the window like he did my little window like he did before. I had to get that fixed. So, but anyway, I don't agree with Caden Clark so much that, but women's basketball is coming up there. Women's softball is coming up. Women's sports are getting better, and are more and more people are starting to watch them. And I'm glad women's basketball is finally getting the accolades that it deserves because I've always loved watching women's basketball. I think that it's way more fundamentally sound, and now it's physical, and I like them having attitude towards each other. Boys, we got attitude towards each other. Why the hell can't girls just because you're a girl you can't have attitude? I think just because you're a woman don't mean you can't have attitude. Have attitude, girl. Go ahead and talk some trash to somebody. Don't hold back. Do what you do. So I have zero problem with women having attitude when it comes to that. None. Go ahead and have attitude. Zero problem with it. And I think they should continue to do that. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. And I think that women should continue to do that. If you, I mean, with men, we have attitude towards each other. We talk trash to each other. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't talk trash. You're a woman, you should be able to talk trash just like men, just like a man does. So that being said, man, I tell you what, we got a lot of stuff going on. Now, here's the big thing now, as the NFL over-under, they came out which I wish I had the other guys on today so we could talk about the NFL over-under. Who is over-under for this year? What are the The brackets for the over/under. You have Chiefs 11.5 wins, the Bengals 10.5 wins, the Ravens 11.5 wins, which I can easily say that I think both teams are going to be really good, especially with the addition of the big boy Henry, Derrick Henry to the Ravens. I think that's going to make a difference. Now there are lots of people on defensive side, but I think with the addition of him, and it's going to allow Lamar to be have much more freedom to run, and I think they're going to be way more dangerous now. The Bengals 10.5 point, and Joe Burrow, he's got to come back from injury. T. Higgins is not happy. They lost Boyd, so we'll see what's going to happen with them. Dolphins 10.5. I think they're a really, really scary team. But once again, I don't trust Tua. I think he's got happy feet, and if you can put pressure on him, they're going to be in trouble. But they do have additional weapons. They've gotten better on defense. Offensively, they got better. So we'll see what's going to happen with the Dolphins. But 10.5 sounds about right for them because that Eastern Division with the Bills and the Dolphins and the Jets, and that division is going to be really good. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. And then on top of that, I don't, you've got the Bengals and the Steelers, and I stuck the Steelers in 7.5 wins because they signed uh, Russell Wilson. But 7 days. They're predicting them. I mean, this would mean Mike Tomlin would have a losing season. Never had one. And you're going to say he's going to have a losing season, so I'm going to definitely do the over in 7.5. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That is ridiculous. 7.5 wins? Really? He's not going to have 7.5 wins. I think that's way under. I'm going to do over on that. Chiefs, I'm going to do over. Ravens, I'm going to do over. The Bengals in that division with the Browns and the Steelers and the Ravens, that division, man. Uh, I'm gonna do. I don't know if I could do equal because I think 10 wins. So I guess under. I'm gonna do. Man, 10-7. Now they're gonna be better than that. I really need to look at the schedule to see what that is. But I mean, that's gonna be tough for me to really gauge on that. I believe. I don't. I have to really. Man, ooh. That's a tough one. It really is. I don't know. What do you guys? I like to hear what your guys' thought process is on that, and then we get Drew and them in. We're gonna really go over all this, and we're really gonna go over it in detail this week. And what I might do is just add all the teams in there of their over unders, just because I think it may be even better if we do it that way, so everybody can kind of guess on what they think teams are going to be. So I may add that, but I just did the average, and of course the Texans 9.5 wins. Um, C.J. Stroud's second year as a quarterback. We shall see. The Chargers, I got them at 8.5, and I'm looking at the Chargers uh, with the quarterback whisperer. Depends on what Jim Harbaugh is going to do. To me, the draft. This is all pre-draft stuff. I think the draft and preseason, these numbers are going to change based on who teams draft and who's going to be playing. I think it will completely change. So, but these are nice early numbers and just kind of going over to who we think. But I think the Chargers, they lost how many games last year by less than 5 points or something stupid, which I think will completely change this year. But now again, you take that Sean Payton didn't make that big of a difference in Denver, but I think that he was upset with that Russell Wilson didn't fit what he wanted, and that was clear. But they still almost made the playoffs, so and almost were division champions. But the Chiefs took care of business when they had to take care of it at the end. So, but 8.5 right now. I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do over. Bills 10.5. They've just had two crushing losses to the Chiefs. In 3 years, I don't. I like them, but I'm gonna say they're in the same division with the Patriots and the Dolphins, and was it the Patriots, Dolphins, Jets? Are they all in their same division? So 10.5. I mean, I don't know. I think the Jets are 9.5. So what I'm gonna do is I'll break these down with all the divisions. Maybe I'll figure out exactly how to do it, but I may just break down divisions so we can have a better feel for who's doing who. And then in the NFL and in the NFC, the Niners 11.5. I think they are going to come back. I think what happened to them, they're very angry about what ended up happening. I think they will come back with a vengeance. The Cowboys, of course, they finished with 12 wins the last 2 years. I just think that Jerry Jones, them is just. I think they've had enough of Dak. They're going to take the hit, and I think they're going to say, "See you later." And I just believe you pay your guys that you need to pay, and you go on and get your quarter. I just think that they're done. Dak is not going to. He is a seasoned quarterback. He is not a postseason quarterback. He's just not. He's not the guy. You pay him like he's the second or third highest paid quarterback in the league, and he's top, barely top 10, and he doesn't get paid like it. I just don't. I mean, but again, that's the Cowboys' fault for not paying him when Carson Wentz got paid. He should have did it then, and Jerry didn't because they didn't believe in him, and then they had to pay him and make him put over the complete, give him complete power that he has over the organization now. So Todd France did a great job of doing that and making the Cowboys pay for making Dak wait. So, Jerry, that's your own fault. The Eagles 10.5. Man, they've got some nice additions. Saquon is going to make a difference. I think it's going to help. It's going to help them quite a bit. I think it's really going to help Jalen and make him take another step, a better step back forward. Remember, they were winning. Remember last year until the end, and then everything just fell apart. And hopefully, they've got some good coaches, and Shane Steichen and what he did last year. So we'll see what's going to happen. Hello, sorry about that. I hit the extra. I knocked off my I knocked off my deal. My bad about that. But anyway, the Eagles we'll see 10.5. So I think the Niners will go over 10. The Cowboys, I'm gonna do under. The Eagles, I'm gonna do over. The Packers 10.5. I just depends on what they do. They got some nice additions, so I'm gonna do over for the Packers. The Lions, I'm sitting here. Man, I think with that Central Division with the Vikings, depending on who the hell the Vikings take a quarterback. I mean, they loaded other than that, but it depends on who the hell they take a quarterback. It really, really does. So, but right now, I'm going to say over for them. Falcons, I'm going to say under 10.5 for them. And the Bears, with Caleb and the additions they got, I'm going to say over on that. I think that they did pretty well. But once again, you got the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings. So that's going to be an interesting, and the Packers, all in one division. So you got the Packers at 10.5, you have the Lions at 10.5, and the Bears at 10.5 or 8.5. I just see one of those teams aren't going to do that because I just don't see that division is going to beat the hell up, beat up on each other. It really is. And I don't even have the Vikings in there. So I may do that and break that down and make it easier when you put them in divisions and who's doing what. So I may do that just to make it a little bit easier on how things are laid out. So I think I'm going to do it that way and see if that makes it better. I think I'll do that. And then we can kind of go over a good view. But I'm gonna start adding some people and start now that basketball high school's over. I'm gonna add some guys who can come in and talk about the Thunder, and we're gonna have some new guests and stuff coming up this week. So you'll be excited about that. I know I'm pumped up about it to get some guys in to give their opinions on what's happening with basketball, what's happening in high school, what's happening in college, what their thought process on OSU. Because you see, I got my hat on for us to get the coach and figure out what's happening with that. So I'm excited about what's happening with this time of year, and of course March Madness is when you start hiring coaches, but I think you need to hire one as quick as possible unless you're waiting on somebody who's already in the tournament that you're trying to hire. So if that's the case, then yeah, wait. But you will see what's going to happen with the Cowboys, and I think that we can get something done, but we do deserve a good quarterback, or do a good head coach who understands a program is not a stepping stone, but a stone that's already laid. In fact. So that being said, I hope everybody's had a fantastic Monday. And remember, girls basketball is going on right. Women's basketball is going on right now. So please, hey, go support. I know I'm gonna be watching it all day today, and I'm excited about it. That being said, everybody have a fantastic day and